certainly wasn't the day we wanted. The game itself really got out of hand there in the second half. That first and second series of the second half. The ability to strike with big plays, to pull away right there and go on a run, and we didn't really have an answer defensively at that point, and they continue to pile it on and do the things at will against us. Overall offensively, we had a turnover. We were able to move the ball somewhat today, and just not enough. It definitely wasn't enough to go out there against Texas State and have the opportunity to compete and win. There's I always talk about a lot of change. There's a lot of change got to happen. There's certainly got to be a lot of change that happens from a personnel standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, from a lot of standpoints. So that's one thing I can tell you. There's going to be some changes going on, and when you get to this point, you've got to look and you got to make some hard evaluations, and you got to move forward in your preparation and your progress in your football program and do what's best. So, any questions?
Hello, Coach. Anthony with Dylan, the Voice this week.
Sir.
I know, just like you said, here at Georgia State, it's be the change. And I noticed, even though it was late in the game, you did put in Winchester. Can you just explain some things that you saw that you may have liked from him moving forward?
Well, Winchester has an ability to do to go with his feet. I mean, that's what he has the ability to do. He doesn't stay in the pocket. He likes to get out of the pocket and not let things develop. But he made some plays when he was in there, and that's good to see from a guy that's been standing on the sideline an awful lot, and to come in there and lead us on those drives and lead us down there for the last touchdown. So.
Yeah, Coach. Could you tell me how you thought your secondary played today? Overall.
You've been here the whole game, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's
Was there
I know it's my opinion, but it's not very good. We were what were they, 21 or 26 in the throwing game. Not very good at all. Not very good at all. And I didn't think our eyes were in the right spot. I didn't think we played aggressively. We didn't tackle very well. We didn't do a lot of good things. I don't know if I can name one right now, and I haven't watched the tape, so I can't sit here and say that. But just from sitting there and watching the last 3.5 hours, no, I can't tell you a whole lot.
Coach, I know when Dan went out, there was some chaos going on. Obviously, the game was happening, but do you have any update on him, how he is after that?
On Dan, he took a helmet to the head right there, so he went in, had a headache, so it's probably in concussion protocol, more than likely. I haven't gotten that to tell you the truth, but more than likely that's what it is. It's nothing else.
Yes, Coach. And, of course, with your defense, I know one of the things you wanted to key in on was giving up big plays. And I know for Texas State, they kind of had a few big plays here. 93-yard TD pass, 20, but pretty much with the big plays. Do you feel like there was something defensively that you could adjust or did different, or was it just poor execution?
Well, first of all, you would have thought we would have needed them to tap them on the shoulder and wake them up. It's hard for me to sit here and see guys that are running, when I say scot-free, and there's 25 yards between the cushion, between the next available defender to have an opportunity. I can't sit here and tell you what's going through their mind, to be honest with you. It's very concerning, very concerning.
Coach, could you talk about going forward, how you could avoid giving up the big quarters like you did the third quarter? It was pretty close at halftime. They kind of broke it away.
Like I said, the game of football is, people make it out to be very, very difficult. But ultimately, the game of football is really, to tell you the truth, one loss with a big heart, with guys that love to play it and love to deliver the physicalness of it, love to go out there and they just love to compete, competitive nature. We got to find those guys. We've got to find something that lights the fire in them. Our coaching staff has to dig deep inside of those guys and find out, who exactly is going to lay it on the line every single play and go out there and try to make the plays that we ask. Too many times I see guys, they're absorbing on the block. They're not fighting on to get off the block. mean, just we got to have some fight in us. I mean, we got to have some fight. I can't say it any differently. Now, I wish I could. You can take the greatest athletes in the world and put them out there, and if they're nonchalant in their efforts, then we have some issues.
And yes, Coach, just kind of going back to your point,
Excuse me, and it's not everyone. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that it's just not everyone. It's certainly not. There's a lot of great effort. There's a football team that plays with great effort and fights. There's a few of them that look right through you. It's a glass door, and they just look right through you.
And yes, Coach, just pretty much going off your point, just pretty much wanting your players to fight. Of course, you're on a 4-game losing streak, and it doesn't get easier. You got a 2-game road stretch, and you got your biggest rival, Georgia Southern, for your last home game of the season. Besides that message of fighting, what is your message to your team, and particularly your seniors, just moving forward to finish the season?
Well, I would like our seniors to push these young guys, to really make them understand about there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into playing this game. There's a lot of time spent to go out there and play roughly, 60 snaps, both offensively and defensively, with a couple kicking situations. I would like for them to understand how important it is to go out there and take this game very, very seriously. It's not about just being a part of the team. It's not about wearing the hat or the jersey. It's not about, hey, I've got my scholarship. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I'd like for them to tell you the truth. I'd like for them to grab a few of them and have a few heart-to-hearts with them, because I think there could be some good lessons learned.
Yeah, Coach, this loss eliminates or makes bowl eligibility very tough for you coming up for the rest of the year. One, how do you keep the guys motivated through that? And what's the level of disappointment from last year's success and now this year, the struggles that you're having?
What's the level of disappointment? Is that what you asked?
Yes.
Listen, you don't compare seasons. You got to go out and you got to play games. Games are played to win. That's where the disappointment lies, is when you don't go out there and execute the things that you practice and that you talk about, and you don't go do the things to be successful. That's where disappointment lies. It's a totally different team than we had a year ago. There's not even close. Not even close from the individuals that we have on this football team. So, how do you stay motivated? You stay motivated because you want to become a better man, you want to become a better person, you want to become a better team and better individual as a player. There's a lot of young guys that have to grow up. There's another opportunity to grow up. There's another 4 or 5 days of practice to grow up. There's another competition to go out there and play. The light don't always just flip on when you turn the switch on. Sometimes you have to change a bulb, man. You got to do some things, but there's an opportunity to continue to do those things.
You mentioned that the lack of effort wasn't everybody. Or is there a few players that stick out to you that have that leadership?
Oh, certainly. We've got. Listen, you look at our quarterback. You look at Dan Ellington. You look at Terry Thomas that plays the defensive line. You look at Dante Wilson that plays the way he does. There's guys that play with great effort. Hunter Atkinson, I don't think he's missed maybe 15 snaps all season. Quan at the left guard position, Gilmore. Those guys. It means a lot to those guys. And there's several others that it means a lot to. But listen, there's opportunity. If you don't have the desire to go out there and compete, then it's hard to go out there and play this game of football.